Our chief has recently become the longest reigning Earl of Errol. He inherited as a very young man, and for the last 46 years now, he has been somebody who has shown enormous dedication to the clan worldwide, with an enviable ability to speak to everybody on equal terms, and together with his lovely wife Isabel, no longer with us, has been an enormous positive influence on the clan. So I'm now going to, I could tell stories about him till the cows come home, and I can remember when...
What do you do with the others?
Well, I can remember when ditching my car, following you from Slains down to the pub in Newborough, in the ice, about 40 years ago. He did me the great favour of introducing me to the mother of my children. So that also 40 years ago, just now, when we worked for Bert's Peerage. But enough from me. Malcolm Hay of Seaton, our commissioner, is the keynote speaker.
Thanks.
So I hand over to Malcolm. Thank you. He said I hand over to Malcolm.
Well, thank you, Alan, for that hospital pass. I would just like to reiterate on behalf of the clan our gratitude to Merlin for looking after us for so many years. And I was reminded today, talking to the Bairds and the Strawns, they have no chief. They have to go through some kind of 10-year trial to find one. We're incredibly lucky. We've got a chief. We've had a chief for 46 years, and long may it last. Another 46 years.
Watch out.
But no, but seriously, I mean, but seriously, Merlin's done great things for the clan worldwide. Whichever country you go to, he's widely respected, widely liked, and as Alan said, can talk to anyone on their level, which is really a fantastic asset in this day and age when all this kind of stuff somehow to some people seems unfashionable. So Merlin, thank you very much for your years of service. We've brought you a small present.
Oh my God.
Now, I'm afraid I tried to find a 46-year-old bottle of whiskey, but that would have cleaned out the clan finances for the next 2 years. So we had to settle for a rather younger one, but it comes from a rather charming distillery, which is little known, but on the road from Aberlour to Granton, there's a 1950s distillery called Tormore, and it has a chiming clock. And when my mother used to take us skiing at Abbeymoor when I was a kid, we used to time the journey so that when we got to Tormore we could hear the clock chime. And I think I heard it about once or twice before the distillery closed down, and I've spent the last 60 years going up that road, and always when I pass the distillery it's 10 past the hour. Am I going to sit there for 50 minutes? I don't think so. But anyway, this is where it's from, and I managed to twist the arm of the vendor, who very kindly gave me a little bottle of 46-year-old whiskey. Which we got for nothing. So, thank you very much for your 46 years, and that is a little memento.
Oh, thank you. Well, I think you should probably be drinking to remind you of the clock.
Yeah. I wish I could remember the tune. It was rather charming. But anyway, there we are.
So mind you, of course, if you were to have this, you'd probably remember the clock all night.
Or not, as the case may be.
Anyway, thank you very much, and give the chief a round of applause for all his great work.
Where's Gordon MacPhail?
Oh, God.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just the retailer. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right.
Here it is. This looks really nice. Ooh, it's a bottle of cold tea.
You've heard about it.
No, well, that was always the great trick, you see. If you wanted to go, you put it in a mug, and with your thing. And if someone came past, to look at it, they'd think you were drinking tea. And so this is always a great joke of drinking cold tea. So it's very nice. God. and certainly not one you want to down start.
Cask
59.1%.
Oh, it's a single cask. It's a single cask.
It's a single cask, yes.
Yeah.
It is Speyside 95.
Yeah.
It's batch 23 or 205.
Yeah.
There are only 584 bottles of it.
Okay.
And first fill sherry butt cask number 5384.
Marvellous.
And I'll test you later. If you want to really know, here are vanilla aromas give way to sultana and dark chocolate.
Oh.
I love chocolate. Cinnamon and ginger spice flavours.
Marvellous.
Complement forest fruits and a hint of aniseed.
Yeah.
And full finish with summer berries and citrus.
Yeah.
What do you think the chap was smoking when he wrote this? Thank you, very brilliant, Malcolm. That's very, very thoughtful, wonderful. I had a bit of paper. What did I do with it? Yes, because I wrote some notes on it. Anyway, which as you know. No, but it's been wonderful to see so many people here, and so from all over the globe. You know, from what I can make out, we've got Canadian, we've got Canos, half Canadian, half Australian, or whatever. We've got Belgians. Actually, they're from Flanders. They're sort of Flemish, really, but anyway, they're just to confuse everyone. We've got someone who was in the Congo.
Born in the
Congo. So definitely there. From the USA, we've got from 3 states that think they are part of the USA. In other words, they're not Texas. We've got North Carolina, Kentucky, and Seattle who aren't here tonight, but they were in the tent today, and they'll be going around tomorrow. Oh, we've got some from England. He married very sensibly. Melissa's about to say, oh yes, how do you describe the other half? Anyway, sorry. And of course, you're from Germany. And it's great to see such a wonderful mixture of people, anyway. And what do I say really about something like this? It's, yeah?
Don't forget the Canadians. They always get missed out.
I did say the Canadians.
Oh, did you?
At all?
You were the first one.
We're the first.
You were the first.
Canadians.
You said started with Canada, I don't know quite why.
And then Canos.
And then Canos.
Canos.
Yes, and then Canos. That's what
And then the
confused
Congo.
And Congo.
See, I've got Oz blood actually. Anyway, it's quite interesting. One of the bloodlines I can be certain of is actually Australian, because my father, I'm quite sure it's my father, because both me and my brother got characteristics of him like him and all that sort of stuff. But if you assume that, then it's his mother's mother's mother's. It's the maternal line going back, and you can always be certain of the mother, but you can't ever be certain of the father if you're looking to history. So actually trace your maternal lines as well, because and that's where you find some interesting things come in, and it certainly has in with us. So you've got, because I've got Mayflower blood, funny enough, I discovered when we went to New York, and that comes in from the carpenter on the Mayflower, not only the Puritans, but we're descended from Richard Warren, who's the carpenter. And the Australian blood's quite interesting because that gives me a convict. She was indentured for 7 years to Sergeant Jonas Bradley of the Rum Corps, and he fathered William Bradley. So the mother was the convict, and then I have to assume actually William Bradley was his daughter Emily's father. I've got her portrait outside my bedroom, and then she married Hovell, I think, and then the blood, they marry an Indian Army Major General, and blood comes back into Europe. On the way, bringing some Hungarian blood. So it's all a very interesting mixture, which is the great thing about these things. But not just the single Y chromosome male line. Of course, well, what else was I going to say? Nothing. They've gone completely off the track, but it's quite fun. And what I do want to welcome here, actually, someone who's those of you who are going coming along on the trips tomorrow afternoon, we'll see again, which is Nicky Elric, because the Elric family and you, Collins, yeah, has taken over now. Sadly, your father died last year, which is very sad. Because I met him, and it's fascinating because I didn't know who owned New Slains these days until Nicky was there showing us around was it a year ago, 2 years ago? I've got no sense of time. Anyway, and we went marching round off the Billows of Buchan and everything like that. Fascinating tour, and thank you so much for looking after us so well and everything. And because of the Association of New Slanes, there was a bright idea that we might invite you to become an honorary member of the clan, because you own one of our important castles and an area of land that we took off the Cummins in 1315 or around there, 14. When did Alan?
1308.
1308. Yes, I remember you said
before
that.
Bannockburn, is it?
We got
yes,
we
yes.
took it off the Cummins first.
And after the harrying of Buchan, as it was called.
Right. So we were causing a bit of trouble up here. As a result of which the Cummins, a lot of them went abroad. And then we supported Robert Bruce of Bannockburn, which is why I always think of being 1314, because that's when we get the High Constableship and stuff. So 1308. So Nicky, thank you for looking after it now. So you feel in memory of that. Would you like to become an honorary member of the clan? Nicky was doing such a good job of showing us.
Fine with Nicky.
Is it? I should have thought. Anyway, right.
Thank you.
What else did I think of? I don't know quite what it says. It was an interesting time, was watching changes and people changing. And I think the hardest thing is sometimes you get, like in any family, you'll get little squabbles and little fights. And then people get over them all. And you just have to sort of sit there and let them work their way through the system. It's impossible, because if you try and exercise central control, it never really quite works. Because it's a voluntary organisation, you know, we're a voluntary organisation of friends, but we're tied through a common relationship to the clan and the clan system, by marriage, by blood, by affiliation, by all sorts of different things. And that's the important thing, is to realise, like in any families, there will be squabbles, and you just ride it out. And very often you can't really determine it, and you can't really decide, and you just sort of smooth it over and try to be nice to everyone. And I don't know, we go on, we're still here, which is a great thing. I did actually, because of this, wanted to present 5 people who've been stalwart members of the running bits of the Clan Society for a very long time indeed. And I'd forgotten that in the basement I had some bottles of a venture that didn't work out. And this was, it's a Lord Errol blended Scotch whisky for the American market.
Yeah.
And this was done with Malcolm Cahoon, actually, of Luss, if you know them. And Malcolm's sort of behind it. And he got these investors in California and places to all decide to invest in it. And we got the whole thing. And in fact, they made me this kilt jacket for the great launch, so I'd look respectable. And the only thing I can comment is these buttons actually didn't get this, when it was made, touched in the middle. It's meant to look like and so I have improved a little over the years. Anyway, and we got all the backing, and it was about the time of some of the .com, before .com, but when IT stuff was coming to fore, but their investors' money into it. And when we actually got the first lot bottled, and we put them in a container and sent it off to California with an irrevocable letter of credit. Now they can't revoke it, as it went off. And when it landed there, while it was in the middle of the Atlantic, all the markets crashed. And the investors removed their money. So there's no money. But hang on, we've got this irrevocable credit. They then looked at them and they discovered that some of the labels, because they hadn't had dividers, had rubbed slightly off each other, so they said it was imperfect goods and therefore they didn't have to receive it. So it was all turned around and sent back to this country. So it never took off. And I bought about sort of 3 or 4 cases, most of it's gone. And anyway, that's the history of this strange drink here. But actually, just for memory of this, what I did want to do is just give it to 5 people that I particularly want to thank for helping with the Clan Society. I think that the main one of them probably being yourself. There you are.
More whiskey.
More whiskey. You can do what you like with it.
Yeah.
Clean your teeth with it, or
Well,
drink it.
thank
Actually,
you very much.
it's a perfectly good blend, but it is designed for a hot climate market.
I think it'll be in the next raffle.
In this sort of spirit.
I suddenly thought
86% proof.
it is.
Yes, it is what it says.
No, degrees proof.
Oh, degrees.
Is it degrees? It's long enough ago to be degrees proof, which are about the percent is half degrees. Certainly.
Right.
I mean, what is it?
Well, it
100
says-
proof
It
is
says
about
86%. Yeah.
bloody hell.
You're giving away the good
Well, you
stuff.
better take it back
86
again.
proof. No, but proof whiskey is about what is it? It's about 50-something%, I think.
Yes,
is
right.
it?
Yeah.
It's
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 about
50-something. Yeah.
It's rather
It's not
better
the volume.
cheese than you were given from Malcolm. I thought.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Give this one back.
no, I'd rather have this. This is a lot better whiskey. Then I thought, Alan, you've done so much for the clan over so many years. Yes, you as genealogist, general factor, helping organise. Your father doing, your parents running the clan tent here for 100 years. All the various Aberdeenshire bits. What? Well, it was a millennium ago.
Yeah, it's 100.
It was a millennium ago. It's 1,000 years ago. Anyway, so I thought I'd give you one of these as well. So here, thank you. So you've done so much. Archivist, without you, we would have come in and kept going. Sorry about the bags, they're just random bags I had in the cupboard. I'd also like to give one to a representative who's here from the Shetland Haze, because old Jock used to keep the Delgaty going and all the stuff there, and he took it off because, anyway, it's another story about how Delgaty arrived. Actually, should I tell the story very quickly? Or no, we're talking too long. Okay. Okay. When my father married my mother, he used them in Crieff and all that, but he never expected to end up as Sir Ian, because his cousin was the baronet and all that sort of stuff, and was still quite young. But he went and burnt himself to death smoking cigarettes in bed and falling asleep. I think he set fire to the Turf Club 3 times before they banned him. And as a result, suddenly my father unexpectedly became the baronet. It changed things. But before that, when he first married my mother, he thought they ought to have someone who had hay associations. And Delgaty was there on the market, not in a very good state at all, fairly ruinous. And they had great plans for it, and he talked to Edinburgh people about it. And they produced this plan. He didn't have enough money to be able to do the Victorian wing of it, but he was going to restore, first of all, the central tower with the big staircase that you'll see those go tomorrow. And anyway, he put in the plans to the local Aberdeenshire planning office or whatever, and they turned it down. So father gave up and thought, and went off. And then his cousin Hamish, Duke of Arthur, said, I'd like the house which I was born in to stay in the family. So he sold my father Eastham and Crieff for what he'd paid for it before the war. So it was great. So we moved to Eastham and Crieff. And then father ran to people in Edinburgh and said, how are your plans for Delgaty coming on? He said, well, you just turned them down. And so they investigated, discovered these 2 planners, junior planners in the Aberdeen office, had bicycled out one weekend, looked at the place, said, God, they can't do that on £5,000, whatever it was allocated to it, and went back and said, rubbish, and sent it back without really understanding or reading it. So, but that was the end of it. Jock arrived from the Shetland Islands, wanting some project, and said, right, so my parents sold it to Jock for the value of the standing timber, because the house had no value. And Jock took over and then bought the farm next door and then got on and rebuilt and did everything and kept it going for so long. So anyway, Melissa here is Jock's niece.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, she is Jock's niece.
I didn't
So,
know.
and you've been doing a great job of trying to sort out all sorts of membership things and issues and stuff. And it's been very useful for all of that. So I thought I'd give you a bottle too. What have I got now? Oh, God, is that chocolate Tom,
Right.
you kicked off. You went and kicked off the whole of Belgium, and no, Europe, and all that stuff, and with huge energy, and the pipe band, and got all that stuff off the ground and finding. And I think that was a great job and a great thing. And without you and your drive and your energy and vision and stuff like that, we'd never have got going. And I'm sorry I was sometimes very slow about responding to things and trying to get things organised, but fortunately he's a great organiser. Sometimes some people I find too much of an organised person. Sometimes they don't always see eye to eye with John. I'm afraid this is in a bag which it used to have chocolates in it. Thank you, Nolan. Now, is that what it? I'm just trying to think. Who else should I have given one to?
Always give me two.
I can't think who. But there is someone here who, funny enough, did do lots of things for the clan, and funny enough, lived on the doorstep of the games we've just been to. And she even built a thing which is named after a great thing in our capital city, Edinburgh Castle. And she's looked after membership and looked after money and treasury and all that sort of stuff and goods, and had a nightmare with all of us trying to get anything to work, and somehow put up with it for years. Poor girl. I think it's probably nearly cracked her up. And as for her very patient and devoted husband, you know, you poor thing. But anyway, so you married into the clan, you poor fellow. But Pam, can I say thank you for all your incredibly hard work over the years. And she even made the kilt I'm wearing tonight. The only problem is it's beginning to fall over my hips. I've lost weight. Not at all, Pam, that's good. Well done. Thank you for looking after us so well for so many years. It's been very good.
Hopefully I'll be around for a little bit longer.
Oh yes, absolutely. Anyway, so I just suddenly thought I'd do that, because it's sort of not had a chance to do it before, and I'd forgotten I'd got that case in the basement. And it was sort of separate. What else can I say about the clan except thank you all for coming, thank you all for repeating. Let's all move forwards and all have fun, and see many of you tomorrow, and we'll all sprint off from Dalgety, those who want to come. Some of us, I think, are going to the concert at Dalgety, but some of us will drive off to Old Slains first, and then we'll go driving off to New Slains. Who here used what 3 words? What 3 words?
Hey!
Well, you're not coming, right? No, what? If you're coming to, I can give you the what 3 words address for where we're parking at Old Slains and New Slains if it helps. But not many people seem to. It's great because all globe is divided up into 3 by 3 meter squares, and it's the only way I've found some houses. Anyway, enough of that. Sanjivar.
Sanjivar.
To you all.